So, as per tradition, we are back with Nashville Predators GM mode, but it's not to talk about the Nashville Predators at all. It's to give you an update of the prospects around the league. So, right before the start of the regular season, everyone's been sent down. Everyone is up on the roster if they should be, hopefully. So, let's jump right in. So, of course, we're going to look at our own roster first of prospects and whatnot, people with potential, and then look through the system. So, all of the players with potential on our team are pretty much NHL players at this point. Duchesne is going to cap out at 89. It looks like, unfortunately, even though he was a 91 last year. Seth Jones, 87, turning into a top defenseman in the league based on overall. Forsberg, a top player in the league, and Kucherov, a first-line player. So all our top line still has potential, so that's nice. And then of course we have Chapman, who's a rookie, as well as Edmondson, who's a rookie. But he's only 3.5 stars, and Austin Watson, who's been with the team for 2 seasons, I believe now. I know last year he was definitely with the team, and I believe he was with the year before that he scored 12 goals as well. So career +4 after having +24 last season and a -4 in the first year. And then the rest are kind of middle of the road players, as well as throughout the roster. Sean Day, Tyler MacArthur, defenseman, Travis Konecny, 77 overall playmaker, going to be on the NHL team probably next year as a second line forward, replacing probably David Backes, who will just, I don't know if we'll keep or he'll just turn into a third liner at that point. David Sherman, 4 stars. I believe he was our pick 2 years ago in the first round. Oh no, he was a second round pick in 2016. Sorry. He'll be on this team at some point in the future, probably 22 or so. Brandon Lemieux, slowly progressing, but he was a free agent pickup. Kalela, Myers, Debrincat, who's still unsigned. He's not really a great prospect, though, to be fair. All right, and then we'll do goalies after, of course. So, New Jersey, a lot of veterans on their team, not many young guys. They have Damon Severson, Adam Larson, and Eric Jelena, John Merrill, all NHL regulars at this point from the looks of it. They also have Owen McDonald, 21-year-old, 77 overall playmaker on their roster as well. That does it pretty much for notable prospects on the NHL. They got Kevin Clegg in the minors, 4.5 stars, yellow. Guillaume McSween, Adam Brooks, Jesse Sibon, Christoph Boyvin, and Greg Schmalz as their notable 4-star prospects. The Islanders at this point have Kriske. Reinhardt still didn't crack the NHL, it looks like. Well, it looks like he was in the NHL last season, but he just isn't this season. Philippe Chaplik, Jonathan Duchamp, Tyler Higgins, Joshua Hosang, Mason Shaw, Kyle Langdon as their prospects. And on the main roster, they have Michael Del Cole, turned into an 88 overall at this point. Pulock at 87. Strome 85. These guys are about to cap out. Yeah, that's it for that. New York Rangers, on the other hand, don't have anyone really on their main roster. In the minors, they have Clarence Perreault, who could probably be in the NHL as a two-way forward center, maybe a fourth or third liner, and Bethune, as well as Mikola on the edge of the roster. And then Ottawa has Bittner, Dorval, Gauthier, and Dylan Strome, as well as Pustula. I'm not going to pronounce that, and Tessink. And then on the main roster, they have Cody Ceci, who looks like he's turned into a top 2 or at least top 4 defenseman. Curtis Lazar. Matt Pumple has actually cracked the roster. I remember he was a prospect last year. And it looks like that's actually it for prospects in general on their main roster. Philly, no one really knew. Robert Hagg, Evan DeHaan, and that's it for their main roster. They have Morin, Matt Vichuk, Kaspik, Kubis, De Jong, and Walter. Pittsburgh, Kasperi Kapanen just on the edge of the roster. He will be by his next contract next season. Mashchurin, Josh Thrower, Imama, all on the edge of the roster, and then Sidorov making his way as well. And then on the main team, they have Sidney Crosby's a 97 overall. It's crazy. And then they also have Derek Pouliot up to an 83 overall at this point, and only Matt up to an 87. as well as Mitchell Webb, Scott Harrington playing their rookie seasons in the NHL. San Jose, Mirko Mueller is already a top 2, it looks like, at age 22. Oscar Kylington looking to make some noise in his rookie season. And then Nieto and Hurdle as well, but they're already regulars at this point. They have Talixon and Goldolbin in the minors still. St. Louis has, Jesus, that guy's picture's scary as fuck. Dylan DiPierna, DiPerna maybe, actually not DiPierna. They got Ivan Barbashev, who's probably NHL ready. Nikita Korostelov, Robbie Fabry, and Valentenko, and LeBurge. And then they have no one really up here that hasn't been a regular at this point. Tampa Bay, Druin's up to a 91 overall. Let's look at his stats up to this point in his career, see what he's done so far. His defense actually is pretty good for someone of his stature. 63 and then 75 points, so that's pretty good. It looks like his last 2 seasons. Anthony D'Angelo, Slater Cuckoo up to an 85 overall. Nemestikov, what did Auberg do? Remember, he was a rookie last season, I'm pretty sure. He was with us originally. 27 points in his rookie season. Maybe he'll do a little bit better this year. Who knows? But he was a key piece in the Mike Ribeiro for Tyler Johnson. And I don't even remember who the other guy was. Nikita Kucherov trade. And then in their minors, they got Bunanen. There's never a worry for prospects. Marcoux, Lewin, Adam Ernie, and Daniel D'Souza, as far as that goes. Toronto, Clint Winnick, Dominic Halak, William Nylander, still not in the NHL at this point, Mitch Marner, and Matthew Hotchkiss. Morgan Riley's up to a 90 overall. This guy always gets really good, man. Crazy good already. Good at everything, pretty much. He has 5 stars in the major offensive categories and skating, and then he's 3.5-star physical, which is the worst, but 4.5-star defense for a defenseman. That's, of course, really good. He scored 20 goals last season and had 64 points the year before that, too, which wasn't his rookie year. That was his second year, but still, he's a regular at this point. They got Frederick Gauthier, and Peter Holland's about to max out, so it doesn't really count. Stuart Percy, that's it. Vancouver, Hunter Shinkaruk. Anyone else? Bo Horvat still. Jake Vertanen, looks like he cracked the roster this season. And then they got Rolf Jarrett, Tyler Benson, Daniel Sprong, Dubois, Tim Gettinger, and Jared McCann, who could be in the NHL theoretically. Kurvinen, and that's it for that in the system. Washington has Breton and Osipov. And then on the main roster, Burakovsky up to an 85. We'll look at his stats real quick, too. See what he's been doing up to this point in his career. Very fast man. Only 36 points last season, 18 the year before that. Maybe he's due for a breakout season this year. Who knows? Then Madison Bowie, and that's it. So, not very not very big on prospects, but it is Washington. They have Ovechkin and Backstrom. They can do anything. Scheifele, Trouba, Joel Armia, Nikolaj Ehlers, Josh Morrissey. So a lot of their prospects starting to come up with Ehlers and Morrissey. And then they have Julien Gauthier, that guy. Nick Batan still hasn't made it up. And Fanjoy, Murray, and Lazarev still not here. And then they also have these 3 who are Red Star potential. Anaheim, Hampus Lindholm, still 86 overall, regular by this point pretty much. And not really much else for prospects. They got Kurt Isles, it looks like, but everyone else is pretty much... Oh, and Nick Ritchie. Everyone else is pretty much about to max out, or isn't making a lot of progress. They have a lot of younger players, though, from the looks of it, who still have some potential. Bailey Theodore, Hora, Noason, and that's their prospects. I almost said the next guy. 3.5 stars, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Arizona got Vermeestraw and Luke Green, obviously. Duchesne, Fournier, Meyer, and him, and then Juuso Ikonen as well. And then on the main team, they have Duclair and Ekman Larson, as well as Henrik Samuelsson, Max Domi, Brandon Pierlini, Connor Murphy, all relatively young or haven't played really yet. Boston has Kyle Moore, Yannick Turcotte in the minors, and then they have Dougie Hamilton, David Pastrnak up to a 88 overall. We'll see if he's really made noise in his career so far. Has a really good shot. He had 42 points last season in his rookie year, so it looks like he is on the verge of a breakout season. He might actually be more suited to play defense at that point. Just be a really good offensive defenseman with that slap shot. So, other than that, they got Joe Morrow. I believe he was in the NHL last season, though. And Kalinin. Haven't seen his name before. Looks like it's it. Buffalo. So, Connor McDavid, I believe this is going to be his rookie season. Sam Reinhart. Evander Kane's about to max out. Grigorenko still making no progress. Doesn't seem like he ever does. Gergensons rather. Ristolainen and Zadorov. And that's it. And then they have Cale Fleury and Bruce Trafford in the minors, as well as Shutt and Pispinen. Calgary, Monahan up to an 85 overall. Goudreau up to a 90. Bennett up to an 86. And they also have Kel Yarncroke. I forgot who we even traded him to, but it looks like he was a bust after all. I'm glad we got rid of him when we did. And then they have Matthew Barzal, who's on the verge of NHL. Cracking the roster. I'm not going by potential at this point. Crawford, Bush, Central Rame, LaRouche, Klimchuk, Poirier, Radish, Davies. A lot of prospects for Calgary. Flames fans looking forward to the future, probably. Carolina doesn't really have anything that's really prospects at this point. They're all really serviceable players, not super young. They have Steele, Hayden Fleury, Thibodeau, and Vince Dunn, as well as Lilja in the minors for them. Chicago, Dennis Yan, Cormier, Fellows, and Mark McNeil just seems to never quite crack the roster. And as far as their squad up here, they don't really have anyone besides maybe Ryan Hartman, who wouldn't really be a regular at this point. Colorado has pretty much no one as far as that goes. I want to see. Yeah, they did retain James Neal, 6.02 mil for a good bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So he's pretty much going to finish his career in the same division. He actually had a really good year last year, 65 points, playing that top line right wing with Nathan McKinnon. Columbus has Ryan Murray, Kirby Reichel, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Milano, Boone Jenner, Alex Wenberg. And then in the minors, they have Yolson, Penner, and Marco Dano. Dallas, Pyarvi. A lot of really long, confusing foreign names that I'm not going to try and read. And then in the main team, they have Travis Brown, Jason Dickinson. That's it, from the looks of it. Detroit has Anthony Manthas getting up there. Ouellette. Anyone else really know? Oh, I didn't check. This Provorov, Saigon, Merkley, Halabi, and McQuaid, and he's not really a prospect at this point. Ryan Sproul. Edmonton, Jeremy Waugh, Kircher, Ganano, and Schutz. And then on the main team, we have Draisaitl, Darnell Nurse, and that's it. Florida, Aaron Ekblad, almost a 90 overall. These guys are big three right here is pretty good, although I wouldn't think Jonathan Hubert was ever a 90 overall player. He's not very good. And in the minors, they have Marsh, Dupereau, Fane, and Spasic, as well as Puljujärvi. That's from what it looks like you'd pronounce it as. LA, Zykov, Forbert. No, he's not really a prospect. Spencer Watson. And then minors, they got Dermott, Fisher, Roland McEwen, Brett McKenzie. Tanner Pearson looks like he's in a holdout for this season, too. It's funny. Minnesota got Nick Malak, Yannicki. Looks like we might have a player from like the top 15 crack it before their top 5 pick. I believe he was a top 5 pick. I'll actually check now. Oh, he was an 8, so he was a top 10 pick, and he's going to have the same rookie season as the 15th pick. Yannicki, Ben Thomas, Delorier, They're not. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying enough attention. They weren't even prospects. Oh, and I didn't check their main roster. No real prospects. They're all NHL regulars at this point. Montreal. Nikita Sherbak cracked the roster for them. Estefan, Helligen, Brown. Trying to hurry this up. It's taken 15 minutes up to this point. Oh, we're actually back to ourselves. All right, so now we're gonna do goalies. So we have obviously Nedved, who we drafted 2nd overall, trading with Montreal. He's gonna be backup goalie in the AHL this season. So New Jersey, Duclos and Corey Schneider. Duclos looks like he's gonna be a backup again this season. Islanders, nothing. Oh, they have these 3 goalies right here, actually. The Rangers have Dubois. They have Magnus Elberg, who I don't remember if we traded to them, or if we just released him. Montpetit, Ottawa, should go by potential. Hill, Dillon, and that, and then they have obviously Robin Leonard on the main team. Philadelphia has Max Shields in the minors still. They got a couple more years of Steve Mason, so it makes sense from their perspective. But they also traded for Makarov from us, so I don't know what's really the deal with that. Pittsburgh, no one really there, but they got Grice and Fleury, who formed a formidable duo. Especially Grice, who looks like he's been their top starter, just based on stats through the last few years. Verhelst and Guindon for San Jose, which is good because their starter Anthony Emmy's regressed to the point of being worse than Alex Stalock. St. Louis has Matt Slimback, and everyone's capped out on their main team. Tampa Bay still has Vasilevsky. Looks like he's headed for a career backup at this point. But they do have Patrick Day coming up through the ranks as well. So Toronto, they got this guy Nico Leashin, who's on the edge of cracking the roster. So Reimer and Bernier might be going next season. Vancouver, Peyton Lee. They're not in really goaltender problems though. So Jake Smith has come up as a backup for Washington, but Braden Holtby just had a Vezina caliber season, so we'll see how that situation plays out. Winnipeg has Eric Comrie and Heli Biuk. Look at that goalie. Like, talk about having too much of a good thing. Should probably trade Pavlik at this point, but they are not doing that. So Anaheim has John Gibson. Obviously, they have Brendan Johnston. 4.5 Red Stars could turn into something for them. So Rylan Parenteau doesn't look like he's made the team yet for Arizona, but Byzantine's a solid player in the meanwhile. So Boston has Malcolm Subban just sitting in the minors still. Sad to see. Buffalo has Brody Wilms, who hasn't been signed yet. They could really use him when he gets good, though. Calgary, they have Daniel DeConing. Looks like he was one of their top picks in recent memory. I don't remember what draft that would have been. 26. So it would have been year 2 draft. Okay. Carolina has Nedeljkovic, as well as Keller and Raymakers, but they have Khudobin and Ward on their main team, doing really well for them from the looks of it. Chicago has Sittler as their backup, and they have Weber, who is 4.5 Red Stars, could turn into something, as well as Picard and Cataract, but no one's unseating Corey Crawford for the time being, a Vezina winner in recent memory. So Pecorine is actually starting to decline too. He's not an elite goalie anymore, although he's still being paid like one. And then they got Mancina in the minors, as well as Rito Berra and a couple other players. So pretty funny. Columbus has Dansk as their backup, 85 overall at this point. Crazy. And then they of course have they drafted Brodeur, but they also have Leo Lazarev and Connor Hicks that I had to sign and trade back to them. Dallas doesn't really have anything there. They have Jack Campbell though, who could pretty much replace Kerry Letton at any given time. Detroit, they let Mrazek turn into nothing pretty much, but they have LeChance with potential still left. So Edmonton's got Ryu and Sartho, which could help out because their top goalie is Ben Scribbins, who's only 84 overall. So it looks like Vadatur's getting this chance to start for our backup Frederick Anderson in Florida. So Chenko is their backup. Los Angeles has way too many goalies. So we're not even going to really go over all that. And then they also have Bartazak, who's an 88 overall, being paid $4.1 million as a backup, although they have a lot of cap space. Oh, no, they don't. They have a lot of cap space a year after that. Backing up Jonathan Quick, so they have an 82 and an 88. That is ridiculous. Game's progression and trade logic is a little funky sometimes. Minnesota's got good minor league goalie pipeline. Zach Fucale is up to an 85 overall at this point. And in the minors, they have Dugan as well, and that's back to us. So that wraps up your prospect report. Next episode, we're going to be starting the Sim for Year 4, hoping to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. Peace.